Welcome to the PrepZone Show, presented by Bevill State. I'm your host, Johnathan Bentley, joined by my co-host, Zak McCullough. And Zak, we're finally into some playoff football this week.
Yeah, the regular season of high school has ended. It's concluded, and now postseason. So we have 5 teams left. We'll talk about that once we talk about what happened last week to close out the regular season.
Yes. And it was kind of a abbreviated schedule. 4 teams didn't even play. But it's hard to believe, and it's starting to get cold, so we're in playoff season. I mean, it's dark outside now. Very depressing. But at least there's still football going on.
There's still football.
Yes.
Should be decent weather for most of this week to get to Friday night.
Hopefully.
That's going to be rough.
Yeah, hopefully.
But not bad. Then next week it gets to being very badly
cold. Yes. So get your coat out. My jacket is in my car now.
Okay, good. Yeah.
The first time all year. I had to replace the short. I took the shorts out, put jeans in. Yeah, I'm all ready to go. All right, so last week's games, we had one Friday game. It was pretty bad. Jasper 49, Lawrence County 7's like a running clock second half.
Jasper, just too much firepower for the Red Devils, I guess.
Yeah, that was overmatched. They don't need to. I think they scheduled Jasper when Jasper was 1-9 a couple years ago. They saw that like, hey, we can play with these guys. They can't. No offense to Lawrence County, it's a 4A school, so. All right, the next game you were at, Meek 34, Carbon Hill 6.
Meek really didn't try anything flashy. They basically just played their game, run it up the gut, punch him in the mouth. The field in Carbon Hill was wet because it had rained 2 days prior. Mm-hmm. And Meek, they put Aiden Benson in at running back, the big lineman.
Yeah,
he just ran people over. And when it's a muddy field, all he has to do is keep his legs churning. He's dragging people because the defenders can't get their footing in the mud.
Not a good
didn't go well for Carbon Hill. And to the Bulldogs' credit, they played well. Those players played their hearts out. And I can't not say that Carbon Hill played badly. They played well, but Meek just had too much for them.
Right. Yeah. I remember I saw Benson against, I think it was Addison. Addison against Meek, and he had a long run there, and then that kind of started what he was doing this year. I think he has at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. Who would ever think that?
Yeah, of a lineman.
Yeah, and he's pretty fast. He's sneaky fast.
Yeah, he was fast.
He pulled away against Addison. All right, so Carver closed out Cordova's season 44-14. That was another tough game it's a tougher competition for Cordova.
Yeah, a rough matchup. You've got Cordova in 4A taking on a 3 seed in 5A, that is Carver. Carver beat Corner 2 weeks ago. Then they take care of Cordova. The Blue Devils finished their season 3-7, which that's a step up. They're slowly climbing back up. So 3-7 this year. They were in the playoff race till the end. Next year, maybe they can try to get into the playoffs and keep taking steps up.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, they had a lot of close losses too, and that was just a very tough game right there. A 5A playoff team. Speaking of 5A playoff teams, Corner got back on track after that loss to Carver, 49-14 over Springville.
Springville, talking about teams outmatched. Springville did not have a chance. No offense to them, they're not a great team. Corner, sadly, they're a 4 seed in the playoffs this year. The best 4 seed you're going to find. Yep. The Corner Yellow Jackets, a really good team, and it showed they got a dominant win.
Yeah, when they win, it's games like this where they jump on a team and have usually like 40 points at halftime. The last 3 games that they've won have been like that. Kind of surprising game here. Fultonville 42, Winston County 14, and this was 27-0 at one point.
Fultonville is a really good football team. I think we found that out. They just outmatched Winston County. Both teams going to the playoffs, though, so this game really did not mean too much.
It really didn't.
But impressive win for Fultonville. Not a good loss for Winston County.
Yeah, you got to stay healthy. That's the main thing. These games right here that don't really matter. A heartbreaking ending for Oakman. This kind of is a microcosm of the whole season. Lose to Southeastern 29-28 with a 2-point conversion in the final seconds.
That
was up 14.
Yeah, they were up 28-14 in the fourth quarter, and Southeastern scored 15 unanswered to pull off the win. Southeastern, they're a playoff team.
A good team too.
They're a good team, but Oakman and Tyler Thomas, they really had their way with them early on, and then just a late collapse.
Yeah,
that's a bad way to end out your season.
Yeah, I hate that for them. Thomas had a great season. I would love to have seen him in the playoffs.
But great career.
Yeah, so Oakman only won 4 games, but boy, if you just changed a couple of plays here and there, they're a playoff team. Yeah, probably won 7 or 8 games. That's true. Just a rough season, and Ben Painter's first year as head coach. All right, so we'll jump to Player of the Week. There wasn't a whole lot to choose from. But then you look at Corner stats, and it kind of jumped off the page.
Yeah,
right?
Corner had some spectacular performances this week, and that's what you'd expect with a big win over Springville like that they would have some players that showed out, and boy, did they.
Yeah, and now they'll usually pull guys, but I think they wanted to, with the playoffs coming up, they wanted to make them play the whole game.
Yeah.
So they did, and they put up, let's see, Keaton Coffey's our player of the week. He had 5 touchdowns. He was 14 of 18 throwing the ball for 183 and 4 touchdowns, and had a 61-yard touchdown run as well.
Pretty good stats for Keaton Coffey. That's what we've grown accustomed to seeing from him. He is the quarterback of a very high-powered offense, and he has the ability to put up stats like this.
And Unruh, of course, the running back, who's been there, he's been starting at least 3 years, maybe 4.
Yes.
He rushed 21 times for 306 and 2 touchdowns. The funny thing is he had runs of 83 yards and 43 yards that weren't touchdowns.
That set up the
Right.
touchdown passes.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, Coffey's touchdown passes, they weren't deep bombs. 9 yards, 14 yards, 15 yards, then 2 yards. So Unruh got him in position, and then Corner was able, with Keaton Coffey, to score through the air, to able to get the football into the end zone. Good performance by Corner, having a couple of stars shine.
Yeah, they threw it a lot. I think they was trying to get things ready for the playoffs, and that was a good tune-up right there. All right, so with the season basically concluded, except for 5 games, we're only doing the top 3. We usually do top 5, and I struggle to get 5. But I can get 3 pretty easily.
It's easy to get 3. It's probably going to be the same 3. I don't know.
Same 3.
Number 3, I have Corner. They moved back up, just considering, I know they were playing Springville, but it was a good win. Got that bad taste of the Carver game out of their mouths. Now they have to prepare for a tough, tough road in the playoffs.
Yes, very, very tough. Speaking of tough road, my number 3 is Jasper.
All right.
I had Corner 2, Jasper 3, which we probably had those flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And Jasper, as we said, went to Lawrence County, and they could have put 80 on them. It was one of your name your score type games. Micah Pledger, their best player, didn't even play. They didn't need him.
Yeah, rest him for the playoffs.
Yeah, a little banged up, so he'll be ready to go. But, they just ran all over him. They just had their way. So, and like I said, my number 2 is Corner, which you already mentioned.
Yes, I mentioned Corner, and I suppose the reason is, Coffey, Unruh, and company.
Yes, the usual suspects. They're back at it. But, man, that is a tough road. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, my number 2, Jasper. I was looking. So Jasper finishes the regular season 8-2. Their 2 losses came to 2 of the top 4 defenses in Class 6A, Muscle Shoals and Hartselle. So if Jasper played easier teams on the schedule, they could be undefeated. But those 2 losses, they hung with Muscle Shoals for the first half on into the third quarter, and then Hartselle is a game they should have won. This is a really good Jasper team that if I was somebody in the playoffs, I would not want to run into them. I feel bad for Gadsden City because there are some 2 seeds, that have easy games this week, and Gadsden City has to host Jasper. Oh boy,
yeah, that's tough. 8-win 3 seed.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Yeah, you also, if you didn't have number 3 and number 4 in your own region, Jasper in some regions probably would have been the winner
easily.
Of the region.
Very easily, I think.
They're winning 15-13 at Shoals at halftime, and then lose to Hartselle with 8 seconds to go. Just easily switch. There were a couple plays away from at least 9-1. All right, so we'll jump into these playoff games. 5 teams. So a Walker County team didn't make it.
Nobody from the Walker County school system. Yeah, this is the first time in
how long?
I
didn't look it up. I can't remember one. Dora's been there. It was either Dora and then Oakman had that 13 stretch, so we have to go all the way back that far at least.
And then you've got when you go back that far,
Cordova was
good.
Yeah, so
before that, and you had Parrish back then, who was good.
Oakman was good under Hastings. So we're talking it's decades.
It's been a long time.
I thought somebody would make it. My pick was Cordova.
And you were close. And then it became, okay, it'd probably be Dora. Okay, now it could be Curry.
And then it ended up being Curry with the last chance.
And nobody was able to make it. And then Oakman.
And if you had Oakman switch their schedule around and they just started right now playing like this, I think they'd easily make it.
They would have beat Phil Campbell probably. And that would have put them in as a 3 seed.
Phil Campbell's surprisingly good this year. A lot of good wins for them. All right, so our first game. Now, some of these might change because Friday it's supposed to rain.
Yes, it's going to be stormy Friday, and we don't want weather delays in the playoffs. And it's playoff games. It's not like you can postpone them, and you don't. Depending on who you are, you don't want a muddy field. I'm sure there are some teams that really do want it, the big power teams that want to run it up the gut that
Hubbardville.
would like that. Yeah, they would like it. Of course, Hubbardville, they had a pretty
No,
good passing
they're
attack
different
this year.
They're different. Yeah, this is not your typical Hubbardville.
So, honestly, at this point, we know Winston County, Pleasant Valley, and Addison Raglan are Thursday games.
That's Thursday so far, yes.
Jasper Gadsden City probably will be a Friday game. And I think you said Meekwood.
It looks like Meekwoodville will be Friday game.
And all of this can change very quickly, so be sure to keep yourself in the know.
Yes.
Try to find out what games are Thursday, what games are Friday, because if they move to Thursday, it's good for some teams, like Addison. They would be playing off of 13 days rest compared to a Raglan playing off 6 days rest. That's a pretty good advantage.
All right, we'll start with a Friday game. Jasper kind of mentioned this already. 8-2 at Gadsden City, 7-3.
Gadsden City's a good team. I was looking; they have one common opponent, Muscle Shoals. Jasper competed in that game, but the score ended up being 34-15. It was a lot closer than that. And Gadsden City lost 24-6 to Muscle Shoals, which is not a bad showing. It's in Gadsden, which I think will go in Gadsden City's favor, of course. But man, Jasper, they are a really good 3 seed. So I think Jasper's going to be able to win this one. I'm picking the Vikings.
I am as well. I've seen this team play, and they have so many weapons. I mean, they did last week. It was a lesser opponent, but I think they're going to do the same thing against. They've already played some opponents better than Gadsden City on the road as well. Now they did lose to Shoals, but I just like their chances. This team has a lot of just leadership and a lot of talent. So we're both going Jasper against Gadsden there. All right, so corner at Moody that came in second last year in 5A. So both 8-2 though.
They are. They're both really good teams, but corner just they picked the wrong games to lose. Drops them to a 4 seed. Moody won their region. Corner might be one of the best teams in the state to not make the second round of the playoffs. I've got to go with Moody in this one. It's at Moody. Moody has too much firepower, but corner, they'll give a good account of themselves. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's weird to see an 8-2 4 seed and an 8-2 1 seed against each other.
Yep.
So a very good team will be eliminated from the playoffs here. And yeah, I'm just going, man, Moody's, they aren't as good as they were last year. Basically, last year they were unbeatable. They can be beaten. It's going to take an exceptional effort from a corner. They have the ability to do that.
Yeah, they have the potential,
but I'm going Moody since it's on the road. That's just a very tough. That game's still on Friday, by the way, and I think it will be on Friday. All right, so we're both going Moody in that one. What about this one? Raglan 5-5 at Addison 9-1.
Yeah, Addison. I don't think so. They were our number 1 team in the power rankings. I don't think we mentioned that they were number 1, but they are. Addison is number 1 in both those.
It was so obvious. We jumped right over it.
Obvious.
Number 1, yes.
They are clearly the best team we have. They have a chance to make a long, long run in the playoffs, and the Raglan Purple Devils, I believe, will fall victim to Addison's machine.
Yeah, we got Blue Devils, Red Devils, and this might be the only Purple Devils in the state. Probably.
That'd be a safe bet.
Yeah, and they're usually better than this. I mean, that's a name team for Addison in the first round, but I see Addison having their way with them.
I do too.
Too many weapons.
I think I've mentioned this a couple of times already. Addison, they have, as you mentioned, too many weapons, and you get a bunch of 1A defenses. Most 1A teams that get to the playoffs, they've got 1 or 2 guys. So you flip it on the other side of the field, you've got 1 or 2 guys playing defense.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, those 1 and 2 stars on defense are going up against an Addison team with 5 stars on offense.
Yes.
They're really good players, and they don't have somebody to cover everybody. And somebody has a big game, and whenever the defense shifts to focus on one person, somebody else pops open. So I think Addison just way too much for Raglan.
Yeah, I agree. He said that 42 players at a 1A is just incredible. I think he said 3 of those were 8th graders. But still, I mean, that's a lot of players for a 1A.
Yeah, Addison, those are numbers that there are a lot of 3 and 4A schools that would like to have those.
We have 3As here that don't have that many.
No.
Okay, so another 1A in the same region, Meek 7-3 at Woodville 7-3. It's an interesting.
Woodville is one of those teams that never is able to do anything, and all of a sudden they go 7-3.
Historic.
Finish second in their region. They've never won a playoff game before. I think you said that this year was the first time they'd ever beaten a ranked team.
Correct.
So this is a Woodville Panthers program that has never been here before.
Not a lot of history.
No, and they're playing a Meek team that was in the second round of the playoffs last year. So Meek has experience. I was going back and forth on this one because it's at Woodville, but Meek's really good. I saw them play last week. They had kind of I don't know, it was just your typical non-region game. Just run it up the middle and try to win, and they were able to do a very good job of it. So I'm going to go with Meek here. I'm picking the Meek Tigers to win this one. Close. It should be a fun game.
I am too. I mean, it's weird to pick a road team in the playoffs, but Meek has just, I mean, they're kind of built for this at this point. You know, they won on the road. I think last year they won in the first round on the road. So I'm picking them to do it again. Just Woodville, not a lot of history. I mean, they've already made history this year.
Right.
I know they're 7-3. They beat a ranked team, could win their first playoff game. Big season for them. It's a long ways up there too. It's up close to the state line.
That is a long road.
Yeah, it's a weird matchup that they have to go that far. But I am taking Meek on the road, so that's 2 road teams we picked. All right, and our last game, Winston County 5-5 at a very good Pleasant Valley 9-1, which is in Jacksonville, by the way.
Winston County is a 3 seed, and they get a terrible two seed matchup. You got Pleasant Valley, who lost 1 region game, and that knocks them down to a 2nd seed. So Winston County, man, that's a tough draw first round of the playoffs. Pleasant Valley, they have the number 5 defense and number 3 offense in Class 2A.
Wow,
that's a team that can compete with the top dogs in that class against a Winston County team who's good, but they're a step down from last year. So I've got to go Pleasant Valley in this one. I think just too much.
It's really strange that team will go 9-1 and have that great defense and offense, and they were 2nd. That tells you the top of that region was
good region,
really tough. But yeah, that's a really tough trip going to Jacksonville. Went there last year for baseball, I think. And Winston County, yeah, it is a step down. So I'm going Pleasant Valley pretty easily probably in this one. Kind of maybe like the Fall game.
Hopefully not. Hopefully Winston County will have a good showing.
Chance I'm wrong.
We've seen a lot of upsets around here. Usually it's our teams getting upset, though, in the playoffs. So maybe we can flip that script this time.
Here we go again, picking Jasper and Meek on the road. But hopefully. So we're picking 3 of our teams here to advance. I hope that
would be good. And because Jasper and Meek are 3 seeds, if they win, they are guaranteed a home game next week.
Against the number 1 team in the state.
The number 1 team.
That's great.
Yes. Meek would get Wadley and Jasper would get Clay Chalkfield, I think.
Yeah, just get there first.
Just get to the second round.
Then we'll talk about it.
And, yeah.
Yes.
It's good to be in the second round no matter who you have to run into.
Cool. Okay, so really quickly, I kind of wrote, we're both going to say Addison has the best chance to make a run. I would guess maybe semifinals. Is that what you would say?
I think that they've got a really good chance to get to the semis. Now, when they get there, they're going to have to deal with either Hubbardsville or Wadley. Now, that will be very tough. Wadley, they won state last year, and they are maybe not quite as good, but not much worse. They're still undefeated. Still, I think, number 1 in the state. Against a Hubbardsville team with a lot of young talent who have not lost yet. They have beaten everybody by wide margins. Hubbardsville, a really good team. Wadley, a really good team. But so is Addison. And Addison, I'm trying to think. I think it's Berry and Appalachian. Those are 2 good teams that they would have to run into. So if Addison can keep playing their game, though, I think they could handle it, and it could be a long run for the Bulldogs. Now, as to someone else, looking at these paths,
I know.
Is there anybody with a path to get to the third round?
The best path is Corner. Probably. Now, they'd have to go through the toughest team that maybe they'd even see in the first 3 rounds.
Moody.
But if they could get through that.
Yeah, if they beat Moody, they get 2 or 3.
Now, that is asking a lot. But that would be if they could win that, to be in a great spot. But it would take, something special.
Yes. So we have Jasper and Meek teams, as you mentioned. They would have to play number 1 in the state, second round, barring an upset. And look, somebody can make a run because somebody ahead of them gets knocked out, throws everything into chaos. Kind of like a NASCAR race with a bunch of crashes, and you're just the team that avoids all the crashes. Yes. And all of a sudden, you're in first place.
That's the first time we talked about NASCAR here.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done that before.
No.
But so maybe a team can do that, have a run where they get some help. We see that a lot in the.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to play these games. You've got to play these games for a reason, right? Auburn, Yale. It can happen.
Or Auburn, Bethune-Cookman nearly.
Yeah, almost.
Nearly an upset there in Stephen Pearl's basketball debut. But it ain't basketball season yet. We got college football.
No, it actually is both.
Yeah.
So right at this point. But hopefully these teams will have to hold off a little while before they start basketball.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so I said to Addison's obvious choice and the rest. Hey, if Winston County could get past Pleasant Valley, if you get through that first game and you're, the 4 or 3 seed, it should make it easier. But it's a long shot. All right, that wraps up our high school stuff. Well, we'll talk about college briefly here. So Auburn, after we talked about this for weeks, what, a month, you think?
Pretty much, yeah.
They finally fired Hugh Freeze on Sunday
I've
afternoon.
never seen you smile that hard.
No, I mean, that was I know we lost to Kentucky, but it was a victory. I had a win on Sunday after that terrible, terrible loss Saturday.
Yeah, he was smiling so hard I thought his teeth were going to fall out. I mean, it was stretched all the way back here.
Pop a filling out or something. But they finally pulled the plug. I guess that's no surprise to us, right?
No, especially after you lose to Kentucky at home, 10-3.
Scored 3 points.
It's like if you're trying to get fired, you couldn't do much better of a job than Hugh Freeze did.
Right. I mean, it was unbelievable. The team, it didn't like they moved up and down the field. They couldn't even get past the 50, but a couple times. It was terrible. So G.J. Durkin moves into that role. I don't know if he'll have a chance to take the job after the season.
Full time. Oh,
but let's just go through these 3 weeks,
do
right? Let's just get through
it's 3 weeks for Auburn. They have Vanderbilt this week. At Vanderbilt, that's going to be tough. We know how Diego Pavia does against Hugh Freeze teams, but Hugh Freeze isn't there anymore. So
right, we'll have to worry.
We'll see what happens with that. Then it's Mercer. Auburn should win that one easily. And then Iron Bowl in Auburn. So you know Auburn's going to show up and play very hard for that.
It'll be close, maybe.
Whenever Auburn's bad, they keep it close and find a way to lose. When Auburn's good, they cannot lose an Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. That's how
it
goes.
So
yes, and they're bad. So
what happens?
Gives me hope as an Alabama fan that maybe that won't be a rough trip to Auburn.
But I really thought Freeze would lose to Mercer. I mean, we were so bad off.
No.
And I really thought that he had a chance to lose to Mercer. We could not, they just couldn't score, so that's over. We don't have to worry about it anymore. And I wanted Freeze hired. This is why I'm not in charge of anything.
Well, he seemed like a logical hire. He had SEC success, kind of a fall from grace at Ole Miss, but he goes to Liberty, a little private school that really hadn't done much, turns them into a winning program. So he goes to Auburn, and you're thinking, okay, this has a chance to be impressive. And no.
Now we are the Tennessee after Fulmer. This is Auburn now.
Shouldn't have fired Gus.
A decade of just
shouldn't have fired Gus. Now,
bad football.
So you're an Auburn fan. So if you had to take your top 3 picks that seem legitimate, you can't go out there and ask for Nick Saban, but your top 3 picks that are legitimate to be the next head coach.
Urban Meyer will be first.
That ain't happening. He's already said he's not leaving.
No, I don't. Oh, boy, it's tough. I don't know for the South Florida coach, Golish, or the Tulane coach,
John Summerall.
Who is from Alabama.
Yeah, he was at Troy, had a lot of success.
Yeah, or I don't know if you want to go Dillingham, who has been at Auburn.
Yeah.
I would think those are the top 3 legitimate candidates.
I don't think they're See, if I was Cohen, the AD, I would call James Franklin.
Yeah.
Because he's had success in the SEC at Vanderbilt, which back in those days, 10 years ago, nobody had success at Vanderbilt. He did very well at Penn State. He just couldn't win the big game. And that's an issue in the SEC. If you can't beat top teams, it's not going to go well in the SEC because you're going to run into 3 or 4 top 10 teams in the country. In the course of a season, you're going to have to deal with that, especially at Auburn, playing Georgia and Alabama every year.
Yeah, every year.
So if you're Auburn, do you want to go Franklin? Because he's a solid hire. He's not going to get upset unless it's this year. Then he finds a way to lose every game. But I think Franklin would be the better fit.
I mean, I don't think he'll go there. It seems like he maybe go somewhere else, maybe Virginia Tech. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll come within a month here. We'll hopefully know where we stand.
Yeah, we'll find out eventually who Auburn will take. We'll see if they make do they try to go after somebody who's never been in the South before? They tried it with Harsin, and it didn't work well. Would they try again? Who is there?
So.
I mean, it's worked at Alabama so far.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good coach, though. He won everywhere it was. Yeah. All right, so I guess that'll get us to Zach's picks to close us out.
Yeah, Alabama was off last week. So kind of a peaceful week for me, not having to deal with. Usually when Alabama has only 1 loss at this time of the season, there's a lot of blowouts. No, when you're playing SEC teams, it's always been close, grinded out. Think you're going to lose till the last second. But we'll get into Zach's picks. Only 4 games.
Okay.
Not a great slate. There's 1 non-conference game. That's where we'll start. A top 10 matchup. Number 8, BYU at number 9, Texas Tech. 2 of your traditional college football powers.
Big names, right? BYU's really good at basketball, too. But I think they're undefeated.
Yeah, BYU's undefeated.
I keep picking against them.
Texas Tech has 1 loss to Arizona State, who is coached by
Dillingham.
Dillingham.
So there you go. Yeah, big win. But I think Texas Tech, their quarterback got hurt. Maybe that messed them up, but they're back now, and I'm picking against BYU again. It's not going well for me. Obviously, they're undefeated.
Last year, I kept picking them. I picked them twice last year, BYU, and they lost both games. And they went 11-2 on the season.
Oh, wow.
So I jinxed them.
Both games.
So I could pick BYU and then cause them to lose. But no, I'm picking Texas Tech just because it's at Texas Tech.
And they're pretty good.
They say it's probably the biggest game at Texas Tech since they had number 1 Texas come in all those years ago, and they won. What was that, 08?
Yeah, they were really good that year. Yep. And then
So,
later.
Texas Tech, I think, will win this one. I know BYU had some injuries. They're over that, so both teams are going to be full strength. But Texas Tech at home, I think, should be able to pull off.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So we agree with Texas Tech picking the Red Raiders. Now into the SEC, a ranked matchup between Texas A&M going to Missouri. What do you think about that one?
If Texas A&M is legit, they got to win this game. Another undefeated. How are they undefeated?
Easy
It's
scheduling.
unbelievable.
It's easy scheduling, and whenever they've had a tough test, they've
Squeak through.
somehow made, like at Notre Dame.
I can see them losing 2 or 3 games down the stretch here, but this is not one of. I mean, I'm taking Texas A&M, but boy, it's going to be probably a close shootout. That's how they win.
Missouri's down to their third string
Yeah,
quarterback,
that's
and he's a
killer.
good
That's
quarterback.
absolute.
But they lost their backup Sam Horn in the season opener, and then against Vanderbilt, Bo Pribula suffered
That really
gruesome leg injury. He got
That was
rolled up
yeah.
on from 3 different
I hate
angles.
that for them.
Hate to see that. So when you're down to your third string quarterback, and you have the number 3 team in the country
gonna
coming
lie.
in, not going to happen. I think if Missouri was at full strength, I'd pick the Tigers. But because Texas A&M, they haven't looked impressive. I mean, they beat Arkansas by 3, beat Auburn by 6. So they haven't been blowing people away. But I think this is another game that probably will be close, but they should win. So I'm going with A&M to keep their undefeated season alive. Next game, Auburn at Vanderbilt.
Ugh.
We know that Diego Pavia, as a football player, has never lost to Auburn when he was at Vandy last year, and then at New Mexico State the year before that. It's a little less hard to believe now that Auburn could lose to New Mexico State after we saw the freeze
sense,
era
yeah.
ended. It did. It makes plenty of sense. So do you think Auburn, the first game without freeze, DJ Durkin taking over as the interim, Derek Nix is going to be calling plays for Auburn on offense. Do you think this is the game where they turn it around, they can upset Vanderbilt, or does Vanderbilt beat them?
I think that's asking a lot. Now, I will say this. Pavia, they shut him down last year, but they scored 7 because it was freeze at home, 7 against, which was bad against Vanderbilt. Now they have 3 against Kentucky, so it's even worse. But that's asking a lot for this kind of put together staff this week. I wish they had an off week than Vanderbilt. Instead, it's the other way around. But Vanderbilt's actually really good this year. And Auburn's played good teams close. I think they'll play them close, but I will take Vanderbilt just because I don't think Auburn can score enough points.
Vanderbilt, I was very impressed by the way they ended their game against Texas last week. They were down
Wow.
34-10 or halfway through the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing 34-31.
Ran out of time.
They did. I think if there would have been an extra 5 minutes on that clock, they would have won the way the momentum was rolling. So Vanderbilt, I think an impressive team. I agree with you. I think Auburn will play probably their best game of the season. I think they're going to do a very good job.
Hopefully.
Yes, inspired, but not enough to beat Vanderbilt. If it was at Jordan Hare, maybe, because unless you're Hugh Freeze, that's a great home field advantage. But I have to go with Vanderbilt in this one. Too much Diego Pavia. Eli Stowers, their tight end, should have a big game, so I am going with the Commodores.
I would like to see Pavia put in his place, but
Well, only
you can't
Alabama.
really stop the guy.
Well, Alabama can.
I mean, Texas, here he came, and he put a scare into him.
They didn't stop him.
Great rally. Yeah,
Vandy
fell short.
defense could not
Yeah,
make
messed him up.
tackles.
Yeah, big plays.
But LSU, Alabama. LSU, this is their first game without Brian Kelly as the head coach. Remember, they
Wow,
fired him
really?
2 weeks ago, had a bye week. Now they have to go to Tuscaloosa. Alabama's playing their best football of the season. Only the one loss, and that was back in August. It feels like 10 seasons ago. Does LSU have a chance with an interim coach to come into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama? We know LSU, they play better in Tuscaloosa. Last time they were there, 42-28 Alabama won. The time before that, 20-14 Alabama won against a really bad LSU team. And then the time before that, LSU was number 1 in the country, and they won in Tuscaloosa. So does LSU keep that success at Bryant-Denny up, or does Alabama put them in their place?
I kind of see the score like last year. Maybe 42-28 seems about right. I don't know. I don't think they can hang with them. Alabama will always get a big play. and that'll probably be enough to sway everything, kind of like South Carolina. Well, they really did. They got the big play early,
Right.
and that ended up being thank goodness they got it.
Yeah, if they didn't
really
get that
Had to have that big play
crazy
early to
pick
pick it close.
six, it would have probably gone into overtime. That was a touchdown. It was a touchdown game.
Yeah, but this is home. DeBoer doesn't lose at home. Alabama doesn't lose at home. So, yeah, Alabama pretty comfortably, double digits at least.
I think the last time Kalen DeBoer lost a home game was 2021 when he was at Fresno State.
Wow. So he will win at home.
He never
Very
lost
least.
at Husky Stadium when he was at Washington, and he hasn't lost at Bryant-Denny Stadium since he's been at Alabama.
That's what you're supposed to do at home.
Yes, you're supposed to win games at home.
And they should win this one.
They should,
LSU,
yeah.
Under a new coach, which I can't remember his name.
Frank Wilson.
There you go. Frank Wilson is the new.
And I think it's his dream
Really?
job the way he's taught, which kind of brings Ed Orgeron vibes. You know, when they hired him, everybody was thinking, oh, that's sweet. That's his dream job. He gets it and he wins a national championship with it.
So you have a long shot this time, but you never know.
You never know with interim coaches at all. So you're going to Alabama?
Yes.
So am I. I think the Alabama defense will be able to get a lot of pressure on Garrett Nussmeier. We all know that LSU's defense can't stop a running quarterback. Now, we haven't seen it much, but
good.
Ty Simpson can run the football. He's a good runner. He's athletic. He just hasn't had to. But I think this is a game where he'll be able to get some space to run, and Alabama should win. I'm thinking 34-20, somewhere.
Yeah,
along
maybe he
there.
can have another big Heisman moment.
Yes, maybe he can. Maybe he can solidify his case. I think he's still second on the leaderboard, so maybe he can jump up to first, bring another Heisman Trophy back to Alabama.
Like they need another trophy over there.
Alabama's only won 4 Heismans.
And those are all recent.
Recent, yeah. Ingram.
Starting with Ingram. Yeah.
And then you go to Derrick Henry. Then it was Devontae Smith and Bryce Young.
Yes. Yeah, they might get another. That's crazy. All in the not that long future there. All right, so is that it for
That's it. That wraps it up.
That's it.
Just 4 games.
All right, so that wraps up our show as well. Want to thank Bevill State for sponsoring and their basketball season.
Yeah, Bevill State basketball is starting.
Is basketball season.
Good luck to Bevill State on the hardwood. Last year they were a bit better. You know, they're climbing back.
Yeah,
there were some rough years in there, but they're climbing back. So hopefully they can compete for playoff spots and do very well.
Yeah, it's a well coached. They have a lot of good coaches over there. Billy Connor running
Billy
the
Connor.
Bears basketball team. So get out and watch them if you get a chance. But I want to thank Jake for what's the word?
Producing. Yeah, he's not sponsoring. Jake's not sponsoring.
He could. He throws a
wanted
buck
to.
or two. We could
Yeah.
put him in there for that. Yeah, thank Jake for producing the show. Bevill State for sponsoring the show. There we go.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.